strips. Lay them down on the ironing board with the dark strip on the top and the seam on the side towards you. This is just my way of doing it. I like to do it this way. It works for me. If you have a way that works better for you, do it that way. And I'm going to bump it open toward the dark. Make sure you get these seams open real good. Sometimes people bring me quilts, and they're very hard to quilt because they have pleats in them where they didn't quite get them ironed open. And it's like little pleats in there. Also, you can't see if your scant 1/4 inch seam is right if you don't actually open them all the way when you're ironing. I set that seam, and I like steam, and then I'll bump it open with the iron. If you feel like it's going the other way, just flip it open and iron it in the right direction. And I'll keep doing this until I have all of my strips done. And then I'll be back. I have all my strips ironed open. I have them stacked right here, ready for me to get to them. The first thing I'm going to do is take a strip and square off the most even end. This end is almost a 90 degree. This end is a little chopped off, one shorter than the other one. I want the end that is the closest to being even. I'm still going to cut off some, but I want to start out with the best one that I can. And I'm going to take any line on my ruler and line it up with that seam line right down the center and cut just the selvages off. Then I'm going to flip this around. We're not dealing with layers of fabric now. We're dealing with a sewn piece. Now this should be 8 1/2 this way. Double check. If all of your strip sets are about the same dimension but they're not 8 1/2, cut them whatever that dimension is. But mine are 8 1/2. So I'm going to put the 8 1/2 there and the 8 1/2 there. So it's on 8 1/2. So I will have an 8 1/2 inch square when I'm done. There's 1, 8 1/2, 8 1/2, 2. We need 4 for a block, and we'll have a piece left over. So if we need some odd pieces, we can cut them from that. 3. 4. And I'm going to save my piece that's left over and put it aside in case I cut something wrong. So this block is what we have just made here on our pattern. So we have that block. We have one more step to it to get it like we need it. But we'll get all of our blocks cut like this first and then go to that next step. I have all of my squares cut. I have 4 each of the blue with this color beige and this color blue with this color beige. I have 2 sets of 4s with this blue and different beiges. So I have 5 sets of these. Now I'm ready to cut them from corner to corner and make all of my half blocks so that I can reassemble them. I'm going to take one of these blocks. Now keep the dark strip on the bottom towards you. Always have the dark to the bottom and you won't cut one wrong where they won't fit. I'm going to take my nice long ruler and I'm going to line it up from corner to corner and cut. Be very careful. So I have one of those and one of those. Take your next one. Make sure you get corner to corner. 2. Don't stack these and do them because there's a seam in there and it will throw them off. You want to make sure that you get these right. Also, you're making a bias edge on these, so do not stretch them. I've not had a problem with them. But if you work with them too much like that, they may stretch. Now, I have 2 sets. I'm going to take the sets, all of one kind, and put together. Get this where you can see it better. I just love it when it starts coming together. There's block 1. You just slide that over to the edge. Here is block 2 out of the same strip. So you've got 2 completely different blocks out of the same strip, and it's positive negative effect. This one has the dark in the center and this one has the light. When we sew these together, we'll just sew the right to the left, the right to the left, iron the seams toward the solid piece, and then put those together, and we'll have our blocks together. So we'll work on that next.